Hey, it's Randy from Funeral Funds of America. In this video, I'm going to share with you the actual pricing for $5,000 worth of burial, cremation, final expense, life insurance, or funeral funds for a 54-year-old male. Now, first thing I suggest is go directly to our website. We've got these free quoters on just about every page. And all you need to do is just select the state that you live in. We are licensed in all 50 states, by the way. Select the coverage amount. Put your birthday in there, the rest of the info, click Get Quotes Now. It will take you to a page that's going to show you all the best insurance companies with all the exact lowest rates that you may be able to qualify for in the state that you live in with your age. So take full advantage of that. You can also call us toll-free at our toll-free number, 888-862-9456. One of our licensed agents can run all those rates for you and help you find out exactly what you qualify and get approved if that's what you want to do. Now, the first thing we'd recommend for a 54-year-old male looking for $5,000 worth of coverage is just to consider, is that $5,000 going to be enough for the burial or final expense needs? Now, typically when we're talking about final expense, we're talking about either burial or cremation. But let's talk about cremation first. So the average cost of a cremation right now in the United States, if you just come home in a cardboard box or an urn, it's between $1,000 to $2,000. Now, if you're going to have some sort of a ceremony, remembrance of life ceremony, any type of get together like that, in addition to the cremation, that's probably going to be $3,500 to $4,500 on average. That can vary by location, of course. But as far as how much coverage to get, for that cremation where you're going to come home in a cardboard box or an urn, we typically recommend around $5,000 to $7,000. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Randy, well, you said that the cremation was $2,000, but you're recommending $5,000 coverage. What's the deal there? Well, the deal is our 54-year-old probably wants to make it to 64 and 74 and maybe 84. And so a lot of times what we want to do is add some extra coverage in there just to allow for inflationary price increases in the future. So when we do that, when we have that extra coverage, we not only inflation proof the plan, but also, God forbid, if you were to die sooner than anybody thought, there's a little bit of money on the front end side too, just in case there's some unexpected bills, like maybe medical bills or credit card bills or stuff like that. So it really works great. It protects in case, you live a long time, but it also protects in case you don't live a long time. Now, for that cremation where you're going to have the ceremony, we typically recommend maybe around $7,000 to $10,000. Again, inflation proofing on the long end of the policy, but also providing a little extra funds on the front end, just God forbid you don't live as long as you thought. Now, for a burial, the average cost of a burial right now in the United States is right around $10,000. So if you walk into a funeral home with a $10,000 check, chances are they're going to get things done for you. But just be aware, that's not going to be anything fancy for $10,000, but it's also hard to imagine that they would say, hey, we're not going to do anything for you. Take your money, leave, walk out the door, and then let you, walk 2 blocks down the road to their competition and give them the money. Just understand that, $10,000 is going to about pay for it right now. It's certainly not inflation proofed, but what most people would do would get kind of, if you're 54, probably look at between $10,000, $15,000, and even maybe $20,000. Probably that $15,000 to $20,000 if you think you're going to live a long time. But by the same token, if money's a little tight for you, just get that $10,000, and we can always add more coverage later for you. That's easy to do. But for the purposes of this video, we're talking about $5,000. Well, $5,000 is not going to pay for a burial. No. So why would people be looking for $5,000? Well, maybe they already had a $5,000 policy or a $7,000 or a $10,000, and they're looking at just adding an extra $5,000 to it because their original policy was enough when they got it, but now they've been blessed to live long enough that they know they need more coverage. So a lot of times that's what we would do, is just help add more coverage to an existing policy. Now, one thing we do hear people say, a lot of times 54-year-olds will say, well, I want to leave some extra money behind for my kids. So I'd like to get maybe 30, 40, 50,000. And, for some people that are on a fixed or limited income, it just gets more expensive the higher amount of coverage you have. And sometimes, we'll get somebody will say, a guy will say, hey, if I can't do $50,000, if that's too expensive, I'm not going to do anything at all. And we just have to kind of, gently let them know that, if they don't do anything at all, their family members are going to have to pay for this, and they're going to have to put it on credit cards typically at 26% interest. So we have to kind of let them know that, if it's a little expensive, it's probably because they waited until they were an older age to get this insurance. But by the same token, what a lot of times what we do is just encourage people to use this insurance for exactly what it's used for, is final expenses. And then if you want to add another policy at some point in the future to have that money just go to the kids, yeah, we can help you out with that too. So just keep in mind, there's plenty of ways that we can help you work around this. Now, one thing we always recommend getting is first day coverage or benefits. Now, what that means is, hypothetically, if your policy were issued and approved today and you died tomorrow, the insurance company would have to write that check for the $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, whatever it is. It's the best coverage. It's going to have the lowest pricing. But we do not recommend those plans with 2-year waiting periods. We'll talk about those in a minute. If you qualify for first day coverage, you definitely shouldn't settle for a 2-year waiting period. Now, oftentimes somebody will come up and say, well, yeah, you're right, Randy. I do like that first day coverage, but I hear they ask health questions, and I'm not in the best of health, and I'm worried I won't qualify. And to that we say, hey, that's our worry, not yours, at least from an insurance standpoint. And the reason is we work with a lot of different insurance companies. They all have different application questions. They all have different underwriting. And really, right around 95% of the people that we're helping were able to get first day coverage or benefits. Really, the only reason they wouldn't qualify for that is if they'd waited too long and they had some significant health issues, like maybe a terminal illness and they were going to die in the next 12 months, or they had dementia, or they were on dialysis or in a hospital or in a nursing home, something like that. If that were the case, we would typically refer them out to a different insurance company. And it seems like once a week we get a call from somebody that will say, hey, we had a family member pass away this last week and they didn't have insurance. We don't have any money. And now their body's at the funeral home. The funeral home director's not going to do anything till he gets a check in his hand. So we need to get some insurance real quick so that we can get the funeral home paid and get everybody buried. And, we have to let these people know that, unfortunately, there's no insurance company in the United States that's going to offer a policy on somebody who's already dead. You actually have to be alive to qualify for this insurance. And it's really sad that they had a family member pass away, but it's even more sad that that family member didn't have this insurance. They knew they were going to die someday. They'd probably checked on this insurance before in the past and just didn't do anything about it. And then they just kept putting it off. And then they just went and died. And now the family's going to have to scrape together the funds to do that. And typically in those situations, they're going to have to put it on credit cards at 26% interest. And they're going to be paying on that for years and years and years. And what a terrible legacy to leave behind. You should have taken care of this. Nobody should have to pay your bills. And you just didn't take care of this. And now somebody else has got to clean up your mess. And it's just a really terrible thing to do to a family. So don't leave that legacy behind. Just take care of this. If you're on a tight budget, we can help you qualify for a smaller amount. We can always add more coverage later. Now, one thing we don't recommend is those plans with 2-year waiting periods. And, Colonial Penn, they're kind of a fairly well-known company out there. I think just because they advertise all the time. Those $9.95 commercials are on TV, seems like every 7 minutes. But you may not know this, but that $9.95 plan, yeah, that's a 2-year waiting period. Ouch. Yeah, you don't want a 2-year waiting period if you qualify for first day coverage. Ouch. No. But they're not the only ones that offer those 2-year waiting periods. There's other companies out there too, like Mutual of Omaha, their United of Omaha line, AIG, Gerber. Gosh, there's a host of other insurance companies that's the only thing they offer is policies with 2-year waiting periods. And some of these companies have done an amazing job at convincing the American public that if you're over age 80, the only thing you're going to qualify for is a plan with a 2-year waiting period. To which we always say, don't fall for such nonsense, because we help people with first day coverage all day long. Now, our 54-year-old male probably just got done watching that Colonial Penn $9.95 commercial, and he's probably thinking, man, that thing is slickly produced. Well done, Colonial Penn, but I'm 54, I'm young. I'm going to get a lot of insurance for $9.95. I'm probably going to get $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe even $50,000 for only $9.95. And then our 54-year-old male talks with a Colonial Penn agent or logs onto their website and looks at the pricing like we've done for you here. And they see that one unit of coverage that's going to cost $9.95 is only going to pay $1,460. That's probably enough to pay for a cremation in a fair bit of the United States, but it really doesn't matter because it's got a 2-year waiting period. It's not going to pay out in the first 2 years. If you die of a health or medical reason, their $9.95 plan has a 2-year waiting period. So just consider that insurance money is going to be worth less than it is now in 2 years, and prices are going to go up in 2 years due to inflation. So yeah, you're kind of already starting out in a tough spot, and it's certainly not inflation proofing your plan. Now, there's a lot of people that would say that these companies that offer these teaser rates, they would say that these companies, they actually advertise those rates, but they don't want to sell you this minuscule amount of coverage. They just want to advertise a teaser rate so that they can offer a small rate, and then they can upsell you to more coverage, which is much more profitable for them. Now, we would never say that Colonial Penn would ever engage in such activity, but some people are kind of convinced of that. And I guess you can make your own mind up based off $9.95, only offering $1,460. But we got to try to find around $5,000 insurance here. That's what this video is about. Let's see what 4 units would be. 58. You got to play around with these units because you can't buy $5,000 on the nose for a 54-year-old male. Let's see here. 40. Yeah, see, here's the challenge. 3 units is $4,300 over here. 4 units is 58. And we want at least 5,000, so we're going to go with 58. But that's almost $40, right? Let's see what that would be in first day coverage. Let's take a look here. So we've got $5,000 here for a male, 54 years old. We're going to click continue. We're going to go back, look at this 58 for right around 5,000 for $39. But look at here. So we can get 5,000 right here, 5,000 with this company for $17. So when you look at this, I mean, roundabout, the Colonial Penn's probably going to be fairly close to being 200% more expensive. And that's something we typically see with them. They're generally right at plus or minus 200% more expensive. And they've got that 2-year waiting period. So why would you ever, pay double? So let's just round this up. Say it's around $20. Because this one's actually for $5,800. So let's say it's $20 difference. So you're going to pay $20 extra a month, and let's see, times 12 months in a year, you're going to overpay $240 a year. After 10 years, you would overpay Colonial Penn right around $2,400. Why would you ever overpay on a policy $2,400? And keep in mind, that's just to get you up to 64, not 74, 84, right? So you're going to overpay every single month on that plan. You're going to overpay $39 when you could get 5,000 for $17. And this is level coverage, which means first day coverage. Why would you ever get a policy that has a 2-year waiting period when you can qualify for first day coverage and get $17 instead of $39? I don't know. You just need to be a smart consumer. And it's okay if you're not a smart consumer. That's why we're here. We can help you be a smart consumer. But let's check out some other prices here. You'll be able to check out all these different insurance companies. Here we go. Let's find another one. So, oh yeah, here's Lincoln Heritage. They're a fine company, I guess. Their pricing's definitely higher. Look at that, $25. It is level first day coverage, but they've got a deal where, the reason it's more expensive, they got a deal where when you pass away, that they will supposedly call 2-3 different funeral homes, see if they can't get you the best pricing, do a couple other things, but they don't do that for free. They charge for it. Yeah, and that charge magnifies the more insurance you get. So it may seem like a little bit right now, but this is basically $26 compared to $17. So roughly right around $9 a month more. If we go $9 a month times 12 months, that's going to be roughly $108 extra a year. And then if this goes on 10 years, you will have overpaid roughly around $1,080 more. But so it doesn't seem like that much, but that's only if you live 10 years. But you got to ask yourself, is it worth paying an insurance company after 10 years, right around $1,000 to make 2 or 3 phone calls and do a couple other things that might only take an hour or so to do? A lot of people would say, hey, $1,000 an hour, that's pretty good pay for an insurance company. So we don't recommend you do that. We actually recommend you go with the lowest price product. We can certainly help you get approved, find out if you can qualify and get you approved. But what we also do is we provide a free funeral and estate planning guide. And that's something you can just download from our website. And then once it's downloaded, you just print it out and then you fill it out. You fill out who gets what and what goes where and what you want to happen after you're gone. And when you're done with that, then you keep it with your insurance policy. And then when you pass away, your family members go to that one place and they're going to look at that and they're going to know that you not only protected them financially with the insurance policy, but also emotionally with the funeral and estate planning guide. And, it's going to be so nice because they're going to know that you not only loved them in life, but you also loved and protected them in death when you wouldn't be around. And yet, when they would need you the most, you protected them that one last time. What a wonderful legacy to leave behind. So, yeah, we can help you with that legacy. Go to funeralfunds.com. We've got a special quota for our YouTube viewers, funeralfunds.com/YouTube. And you can get the lowest rates, most discounts, and get some really terrific pricing there. We encourage you to do that. And you can also call us at 888-862-9456. One of our agents can help you out with this. But if you've got an existing policy and you want us to price shop it to see if we can save you money or add coverage to that policy, we can help you out with that. If you are looking for a brand new policy or you just have some questions or want to know possibly what you might qualify for, we can help you out with that. But we look forward to the day when we can help you get the most amount of insurance for the least amount of money. We will be blessed to help you with this at some point in the future. Until that day comes, you stay safe, you take care, you have a nice day. Bye-bye.